What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Stellar Lumens today, XLM USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 4th day of October today, and here we are sitting at about 39.38 cents. We got 1 hour and 10 minutes left in the day here. Down a little bit on the day, but you're up a good bit this week. 7% is nice to see, and compared to where you've been with this range, instead of moving down, you're just moving sideways, so that's also kind of nice to see. Some people might be looking at this and saying this is a descending triangle. I don't know. I think we're a little too far gone for this to be a descending triangle. I think that this has shifted into a horizontal trend, which is not necessarily any better. That could promote some downside in itself. But in all actuality, I think we've broken out of this downward sloping range. All that remains to be seen is that we do get above this high here, because once we do, we validate the Eve and Adam pattern here, and we begin to move out, breaking out of this range overall and leading us to new all-time highs altogether. So let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll zoom back out and we'll finish the video up on the long-term stuff, okay? Looking at the 1 hour time frame here, you're coming up a little bit. You don't look too bad. You're rolling over. I actually kind of like this. You might go lower with that, though. Let's be fair. 1 hour time frame, lower highs, lower lows. You look like you want to go down a little bit, maybe find some bullish divergence, something like that, a higher low there. And then with that, you'll break out of this downtrend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. Typically, you break out of these trends after you hit the oversold area with some bullish divergence in the mix. And I think that's exactly what we're about to form here. So that would make me think that we see one more move lower. You know, we're kind of in that area where you might expect. We could go a little bit higher before we move lower, but something in the zone. Let's look here. Low to high. Do we want that low to high? I think so. Low to high here. 1272 up to this area. The 786, 886 is actually very common to do this exact thing. 1272 up here. And then you go down to the golden ratio or lower. So perhaps we move up to 39.7 cents, 39.8 cents. We're at 39.38 cents right now. Not that big of a difference. And then down to levels that are probably around like 38.3 cents or lower. Stochastics are at an area to reject at the 50. The MACD is crossing green, which is nice, but it's on the 1 hour time frame, and we're overall bearish. So, and I think you have enough room left here to find bullish divergence as you progress through. So I do believe that we go lower. 4 hour time frame here. The RSI overall is kind of nice, but you have broken out of your uptrend here. Higher lows, higher highs. You broke out of that, and you found support at the 40, but I would expect that you continue going lower. You've kind of turned your upwards trend into a new, slimmer downwards trend, and you're likely going to make further strides down there until you get to the oversold zone, or at least bounce off of it. If I'm wrong, you'll uphold the 40. You won't go below the 40 if I'm wrong. And in order for that to happen, I would say you probably wouldn't see lower lows in the price. Yeah, you probably just wouldn't return to prices that are below 39 cents if I'm wrong. Let's do you one better. If I'm wrong, you'll go above 40 cents on a daily closing basis. If I'm wrong, a day or multiple 4 hour candles in a row will close above 40 cents. That will prove me wrong. Likely. Stochastics are bearish. The MACD is nice overall, but still calls for lower prices before moving up, just like the RSI. I think it's nice overall, but you might move down a little bit lower and then you move up higher. That's okay. Daily time frame here with the MACD rejecting off the zero, but you do have higher lows overall. You're about to cross above the zero. So again, these more bearish things are only implicated in the shorter time frames. The more we're zooming out, the better this is shaping up. Undoubtedly, Stellar Lumens is about to rip through the roof. We're about to break out of this zone, this horizontal channel here, to the upside. Absolutely we are. This is about to be validated to exactly what we were talking about with it being a W pattern here, but we might have a little bit of more time, right? The 1 hour, the 4 hour, they're kind of uncertain. The daily starts to get a little bit more bullish. I think that today and maybe even tomorrow, Sunday, we could continue to consolidate, and then Monday, going into the new week, will rip. Either that or we'll pump on Sunday, and then we'll come back a little bit on Monday. But daily time frame, the RSI is nice. I definitely like the RSI. It's neutral overall. You're finding resistance where you have before. However, I don't think that you're going to come all the way down here like you have before. I think that what you're going to do is you're going to find support at the 50. So again, implicating that we could come down over the next day or two and then move up sometime after that. And if I'm wrong, the only way I think I'd be wrong is that we actually move up sooner than I'm anticipating. But I still do think we go a little bit lower from here. Stochastics are bullish, MACD's bullish. There's nothing but good things going on here. Looking at the weekly stochastics, we're bouncing off the 50 and the RSI as well. MACD is shaping up here. We've just crossed red, but that's okay. I think we're going to actually break out of this and cross green again. That's gonna be really nice to see. Looking at this overall, zooming out from the all-time high back in 2017, actually 2018, high to low. I would anticipate that we interact with this first target zone here, and if we're looking at the current price, let's see, what is that going to do? Something, I think I'm a little bit above the current price. Let me adjust this, hold on. Something right there. We should see prices at or around $2.46, give or take a little or a little bit more, sometime by the end of October, early November, or perhaps by the end of the year at the latest. Depending on how fast we get here, that will determine where we go by the end of the cycle as well. But all in all, we're about to break out of this range. I think it's very obvious that out of all the attempts we've had so far, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, you know, we're in this area where we're looking to break to higher prices. And instead of rejecting like we have before, we're just consolidating. Weekly time frame, RSI, stochastics look good, MACD looks good. We've already looked at that. Monthly time frame here, building bullish momentum with this month. Stochastics are shaped up good, and the RSI is as well. We haven't actually gotten into the overbought zone since last year, and I think this next attempt is going to provide a stronger reading as well. If it does, it's very possible that this next move is stronger than this last move. Low to high. Could it be stronger? Would you take it from here, or would you take it from here? From the bottom here where you broke out, that's like $1.65. From right here, though, it's like $2.70. $2.70 and $1.65 actually line up pretty well with our prior cycle highs and bear market low Fibonacci extension. Because here, just above the 1414 is actually very common. That's what you would normally do. And then $1.65, that's pretty close to $1.54. I don't know. Anyways, guys, just some thoughts there. I very much do believe that we're going to move up here, and I think that we are going to see higher prices than this even by the end of the cycle. But to determine how high we're going to go by the end of the cycle, it depends on how fast we get here. If we're in this range, $1.50, $2.50 sometime by the end of the month, if not very beginning of November, I would think that we strive for higher prices going into the end of the year, and that would allow us to potentially go up to like $20 or more by the end of the cycle, $20 to $40. But that could shrink down to about $7 to $20 if we don't get to $1.50 or $2.50 in this area until sometime in 2026. But we'll see. Time will tell. I'm very confident Stellar Lumens is going to rip over the next month. It's just how high are we going to go? New all-time highs, but how high? Anyways, I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I hope you had a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.